you know, your calling becomes more and more revealed over time. So I just uploaded a video, projections 1. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my little exercise thing here going up this hill, even though I healed my back, popped it back in place. Still want to build my back muscles and leg muscles. I walk 7 hours a day, so this is just not even needed probably, but it's a different kind of exercise, I guess. Anyway, 3D projections from the cross. I'm gonna do this video, then I'm gonna do an audio for Spreaker, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, next day or something. I might title this Dark Night of the Soul. Look how they built that little step right there. I mean, that is nice. I wish I had the patience to do something like that. I just don't have the patience. I just build stuff as fast as I can. I knew that there'd be noise while I do this video, because this video is so important. I got dogs barking, got radio. The dark night of the soul. So sometimes God lets you go through it happens to me on a daily basis because I'm recording messages. So in order to step into the next level, there has to be death, resurrection, and everything. And so I don't know if you call it depression or just entering into like a dark state, and then you rise up on the other side with some new revelation, you know. I don't even know what you call that. But some of the prophets of old you had the crying prophet, who was that? Jeremiah or somebody. You had the depressed prophets. But if you understand what I'm going to tell you, it all makes sense. Everything lines up. It applies in marriage, in a job, in a business, in changing your oil, in these birds. On the left-hand side of the cross, see, everything that you experience in this 3D hologram is based on the archetypes of the cross. The steady state truths of the cross are projected down here. And to us, it feels like motion, but it's really just the same story. It feels like I'm walking, but am I really moving? No. Yes and no. Yes, I'm moving, but it's really just a type and shadow of the flow, which is the blood flow. And so I need to tie my shoe here, and as soon as I can find a place to put my foot, tie my shoe, so I can keep doing this recording instead of putting my foot out of joint. But anyway, so everything projects from the cross. So what happened at the cross? On the left hand side, well, before the cross, God made a decision. So love is a decision, right? God sent his son. This is why your children can upset you, but you love them by choice, you know? If you stay married long enough, you decided to love your spouse through their bad side. That's why it's good to see the bad side of somebody before you marry them, because can you put up with that bad side, you know? Because everybody's got a bad side. So on the left-hand side of the cross, so the first thing is God made the decision before the foundation of the world to create man, knowing that man would fall, but so love is, he made the decision to walk in love, you know. And then we're going to look at the left-hand side of the cross, the right-hand side of the cross. What happened at the cross? So the first thing you got to do is make a decision. then you start walking in that decision. Is it painful? Yeah. Is it frustrating at times? Yeah. Is it, you know, is there going to be failure? Yes. Left-hand side of the cross. Is there going to be victory? Yes. Right-hand side of the cross. Here's a snake on the, don't tread on me. Need to ask this dude if he knows what he's identifying with. Don't tread on me. I'm a snake. I identify with the snake. He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. Who do you identify with, the snake or Jesus? Jesus is going to tread on the head of the snake. I'd rather identify with Jesus than be a little crybaby. And so you're going to wake up to that soon. If you listen to any of my videos, you're going to wake up to being a little crybaby, and a snake is not where you want to be. And taking revenge is not where you're going to be. So like I said, the archetype beginning is love. Did God take revenge? See, when God makes a judgment, it's based on seeing the whole picture. When you make a judgment, it's based on partiality, and that's part of what happened at the cross and what happened at creation. God, through Jesus, made all things. So every person is per the Son. Each person's a piece cut off. So just like this tree has many pieces, many leaves, but it makes a whole tree. That car has many parts, but makes a whole. So when you look at life from a piecemeal point of view, as a human, you're only seeing a small portion. And so for you to take vengeance, instead of letting God take vengeance, you're only seeing partiality, and you're making a judgment call that you can't make because you don't have enough information. You might be getting the reap what you sow result of something. When somebody did something to you, you might be because your heart needed to be cut, that something in you wasn't right, needed to be cut out, you know. So the left-hand side of the cross, sacrifice, pain, coming down into death, darkness, sin. And so it projects, the left-hand side of the cross projects out here. You can see it in the dirt. You can see it in the mold and the mildew and when it goes to nighttime. I notice these clouds, they're not even moving. When I was a kid, the clouds would move. They're not even moving. Not on the inside or the outside. It's wild stuff. Have y'all noticed that the clouds don't move anymore?
I know.
They're not moving.
I never even paid attention.
So the left-hand side of the cross is darkness and death and second law of thermodynamics. Everything's decaying and falling into chaos, and that's why your business has to be maintained, because it tends to go into chaos. Your grass, you have to mow it. You mow it, make the grass look good, and then you have to mow it again, you know. To tend it. I asked that guy up there, I said, have you noticed the clouds don't move anymore? She got kind of scared, some stranger talking to me. Anyway, the left-hand side of the cross is the sin. The right-hand side of the cross is the victory. Blood, sweat, and tears. So that guy's mowing his yard. Blood, sweat, and tears. Had to spend some money on some weed eater cord. This tree here is active. I'm in shock how active this side of this tree is. So he's pretty much representing the middle part of the cross. So you got the left-hand side, what happened before. Jesus came down into this world. He split space-time, came down on the right-hand side of the cross. You have the Spirit raising up. Just like a balloon, you put air in a balloon, joint airs, you rise up. So no matter how hard, if you're really saved, it don't matter how hard they hit you, you just keep rising up. It don't matter if your wife divorces you, leaves. It don't matter if your kids leave. It don't matter if people lie about you, threaten you, defame you. You just keep rising up because the balloon rises up because there's air in the tire. Your joint air. So the left-hand side of the cross, death. The right-hand side of the cross, life. What happened at the cross? The pain, the piercing, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the crucifix, the crucifying, the crux. The crux of the matter is the cross, because the word crux does mean cross. What's the crux of the matter? You're going to have some pain. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to experience growth pains. You're going to, in order to move from the left side to the right side in a daily basis, let's say you sleep. So to get up, some people just jump right up. Some people, I can't hardly get out of bed. I'm one of them. It's like I have to force myself. And that's probably something from my childhood I need to fix. I can't seem to break that pattern for some reason. It might be health. It might be related to nutrition or something. But I think it might be also related to not having these archetypes I'm talking about settled 100%. When you finally get the archetypes, but you eat and drink of the archetypes, they become a part of you, it changes your life. See that? That's the left-hand side of the cross, decay. Ants, the hive mind, A-N-T, ants, that represents the left side, the hive mind. Look at that, Lost Ark video games. I once was lost, but now I'm found. So some of the projections are love from the 5D, from the eternal plane. Some of the projections that manifest down here that have to play out in a storyline, like this intersection here. This intersection looks just like that intersection. Here's a access. There's an access. There's probably one up here. This intersection, sewer access. This intersection looks like this one up here. Why? Because it's an archetype. It's a projection from the 5D. The lamb slain before the foundation of the world. These archetypes play out all the time. This is why women test the man to see if he loves her, because she knows she's going to mess up, and the only man that's going to put up with her is the man that loves her, you know. That's the game, people. And you're not going to change it. Once you become aware of it, it's obvious. Let's see if this intersection looks like the one I just came from, which I already know it does, but let's just try this archetype projection from the cross. Everything's a projection from the cross, and that story, the storyline, history, his story. H is eternal, I is Jesus, ST is the snake on the cross, ORY is having to do with. So this story plays out over and over and over. If you go into a building that has 10 stories, even though you get to the next level, let's say there's different businesses at each level. There's same dynamics going on in each level because it's the same storyline. If you change your jobs, same storyline. Just different people, same place, same. So now let's look at this intersection. There's a sewer access. There was 3 down there. And there's 3 up here. Here's a sewer access. There's one. And up here's one. Same story. Same story at that last intersection. So what are the projections that come to mind just off the bat? God's love, God's truth, the cross, the pain, the left side, the right side, moving from the left side to the right side. The cycle repeat, the birthing, because you're moving from the left side to the right side, but you have to go through that birthing process moment by moment, state by state. And so as I'm taking steps, I'm birthing into my destiny. Destination, destiny, same word. So as you take these little baby steps, you're getting closer to your destination. Other projections. So I said love, truth, pain, suffering, victory, the dark days, the dark night of the soul. Before you have a breakthrough, there's usually a dark night, right? And this happens to me every day because I do messages every day. Some of them I don't upload till later. And if you see me upload 4 or 5 in one day, it's because there's stuff I just didn't have time to upload, and I had to upload it all at once when I had time. Dark night of the soul, the pain to push through to the other side, the resurrection, the victory, the sacrifice, the death and resurrection, sleep and wake up every day. You go to a wake every day because you wake up and that other person's dead yesterday. You go to a morning every day, good morning, because the morning of that other person who died yesterday, which is not you anymore, is dead. And this is why when you do this meditation, you have these continual dark nights of the soul. You're putting all the puzzle pieces together. You're trying to figure out what in the world is this place, and it all starts to fit. They put pegs in there to hold that down. The dark night of the soul is a precursor to the revelation or the resurrection, moving you to your next state. And that's happening everywhere all the time. There's really no space and time. So what happened at the cross is the storyline. Love, truth, sacrifice, victory, pain, death, resurrection, night and day, up and down, sine wave, sin wave, Wile E. Coyote vert chasing Roadrunner, the flesh versus the spirit, because the flesh creature sees. So the flesh creature is stuck on the left-hand side of the cross. You are in victory on the right-hand side because they're not willing to go through the pain. They want to vampire off you, but you're willing to go through the pain, and they want to vampire off of your ability to endure the cross, whatever it is, the crutch. This is why they steal your content. This is why they try to tear you down. This is the whole game, really. So they're stuck on the left-hand side. So the flesh persecutes the spirit because they hate your freedom, but they could have freedom, but they don't want to go to the cross and admit they're a sinner. They don't want to go to the cross and study their Bible and rightly divide it and meditate on the truth. They just want to have fun and listen to their music, and they stay in this state of ignorance. And they're mad at you because you see through them, because it's all archetype. You used to be them. You're not judging them. You used to be like them, lost and undone. And you see their game, you see their lie, and they can't figure out how you can see through their con artist tricks, which is so obvious. How could you not see it, But they think because of their pride, on the left-hand side of the cross is pride. On the right-hand side of the cross is humility. They have pride. Everything about them is lies. So on the left-hand side of the cross is lies. On the right-hand side of the cross is truth. So the archetypes that when Jesus, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit said, we're going to go to the cross. Some people are going to make it. Some people aren't. They love the lie. They love death. They love darkness. And then there's going to be, that's tares, the wheat and the tares. So the ones who love truth, love faith, they know it's going to be painful. So when you step into truth, so you leave darkness, the left-hand side of the cross, you step into the light. In order to maintain that, the flesh is always persecuting you. There's going to be pain and struggle and false accusations and people trying to pull you back down, pull you away from the spirit walk back into the flesh walk. And that's all they know. And the reason they try to do that is because that's where they have their power, in darkness. You have your power in walking in the spirit. They have their power in darkness. They can pretend to be loving and kind and sacrificial, but they're only doing it to draw you in. They have no skin in the game, and they don't want any skin in the game because they want they want a vampire off of you. You are the light, they're the dark. They hide in the dark, they're vampires. You walk in the light, but they want to work in secret and pull energy off of you, but do it in darkness, and the two shall never mix. It's impossible. They love the darkness. They're going to be in jail. They're going to be in trouble. They're always going to be fighting amongst each other. They try to have that communion. What else happened before the foundation of the world? Communion. God sent Jesus to the cross. Jesus chose to go to the cross to bring communion between man and God. Jesus, the mediator between man and God. So that communion there, they want, but you can't commune with the devils, the demons. So they have to commune among themselves, and they end up fighting amongst themselves and doing narcissistic tools and all these power games and all these Jezebel games, and they always hate each other. Have you ever noticed you work with women, and you hear nurses especially, they all say, every nurse I've ever talked to, they say, I hate working with women because they're all backbiting and all. So all the women at work, they're all fighting amongst each other, trying to pull people on their side. It's a Jezebel game to see who can create the most flying monkeys to keep them on their team. But they all play the game, and they all know it. That's the left-hand side of the cross. Instead of just doing their job and sacrificing, they're over there, he said, she said, blah, 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 and making stuff up to try to create some kind of, I don't know, loyalty. They probably attack you through a third person. That person says something, and then they come in to rescue and say, oh, I'm sorry, everybody's attacking you. Let me rescue you, you know. So it's a manipulation game to the hill. I keep getting distracted on the archetypes that happen, the steady state archetypes of the cross. Love, truth, sine wave, sacrifice, redemption, death, resurrection. Everything that you experience here happened at the cross. And it's a fractal. And so what's happening right here, see these whatever that is. You got concrete, you got the road, the concrete and stuff from the trees and the weeds growing up, right? And then you walk up here and you got the same thing. So the same story means it's a fractal. It doesn't matter how much you zoom in and zoom out, the micro, the macro. If you zoom in or zoom out, it's the same story. Let's look at this fence right here. So there's a chain link fence, and then we go across the street and there's another chain link fence. As I take my steps, I'm walking through the cross. So the steady state archetypes of what happened in 5D, 7D, 9D, whatever, are playing out in 3D. So there's some trash on somebody's thrown something out and it's broken into pieces. Let's walk up here and see if it appears again. The way things work, what you do creates a pattern. But what you do has patterns before what you did. Hello? And that's what I'm talking about. Let's see if that appears. It might not appear right now, but it will. Maybe after I quit recording. So this is what I'm saying. Okay, let's say it's 5D, 7D, 9D, 11D. Let's say it's the 11D. So the 11D mind of God is steady state. He doesn't change. God's love doesn't change. God's system doesn't change. So what seeds you plant, a farmer plants a watermelon seed, he gets watermelon seed back. So he knows that archetype, and that's what he does every year. So let's say it's the 11D. It doesn't matter. Let's just use 5D. So whatever's happening in 5D, the higher the dimensions, the more steady state. So God's love would be the highest dimension, right? Because in the new heaven and new earth, this place is going to be renovated. This is just this system is just a birthing system to move us to the new heaven and new earth. And he's separating the wheat from the char. He's separating the wheat from the tare, and he's going to burn up the tares, right? But there's going to be a new heaven and new earth. But even in the new heaven and earth, there will be no memory, but the smoke of their torment rises up forever. So there's always going to be that negative side of the cross. There's always going to be that negative side of the cross. So what was the archetype of that? So the guy pulls up to the stop sign. I'm walking, so I wait. I pause my mission. What is the mission? It's the mission of the church. It doesn't matter who it is, saved or lost saved. They're typifying the mission of the church. That's an archetype. The mission of the church is an archetype. And so this archetypical pattern just keeps playing out everywhere you look. Listen to that music. That music is the left-hand side of the cross. But they're using the sine wave. All music uses the sine wave. But that music is just the flesh. If somebody's drinking, if somebody's listening to their rock and roll or rap, and that's all they do, they don't have any silence or peace. They're being programmed by the music. Okay, so here it is. Told you. See this plastic? There it is. There's the piece that came off of. Looks like. So I just showed you in real time the fractal hologram appearing. I knew this would appear. And when I first started, I said, look at the dogs barking and the noise, because it's so these guys walked by me with their music. Had to pause my mission. The motorcycle noise came by. Had to pause my mission. That's what the pause is. So in a sentence, you have a comma. You have a pause. The archetypes into 5D, 11D. We know that love is God is love, right? Everything that God is playing out here. But we know this earth is temporary because there's too much negative down here. At the same time, there's just as much positive, the yin and the yang. But in the new heaven and new earth, it's all no more tears. The past won't remember anymore. No more pain, because the smoke of their torment rises forever. But we won't even remember. We won't even know that's happening. I don't think. I can't say for sure, but there's no more ocean. There's no more waves. There's not going to be an ocean in the new heaven and new earth. No more waves, because the waves is the sin wave, the sine wave. So when you understand the archetypes have to appear, but you overcome because you're joint heirs. There's a study of carbon monoxide. Some people say it goes up, some people say it goes down. They don't know if it rises or falls, you know. That's wild stuff right there, isn't it? Somebody might have figured it out by now. There's a piece of metal mesh. Let's see if that appears later in the day. But here's this. I told you this would appear. I didn't have to go but 2 blocks to see it. All I had to do is walk 2 blocks and I saw it. Can anybody hear me? The steady state types and shadows of what happened at the cross, the lamb slain before the foundation world, is playing out every moment of every day in a fractal holographic 3D experience, and its cycle repeats to move you from the flesh mind to the spirit mind if you're willing. And you have to enter in by faith, and then you have to walk by faith, and then God starts to show you truth. He has to test you first. You have to understand eternal security, faith alone. You have to understand walking in the Spirit is not of works. You have to understand it's nothing to do with you. It's all Him. And then as you move into that higher knowledge, it starts to appear. Here's the stuff I saw, and I told you it's going to repeat. And I said, I don't know how long. There it is. I didn't plant that. I wasn't even planning on walking down here. How could I predict the future? Because it's a fractal holographic repeat based on the archetypical patterns of the lamb slain before the foundation world, and the storyline never changes. I just predicted the future in real time. You could see it. I recorded it. How was I able to do it? Is he a prophet or something like that? No, I'm just a saint saved by grace who spends my time meditating on the truth instead of on the music of the world, the insanity of the world. I meditate on eternal truth, not temporary stuff. But if you really meditate long enough, you'll see the temporary stuff is eternal truth. But you get so focused on your little piece that you don't see the whole. And I'm not mad. I'm saying that's the same thing I was doing until God revealed it to me. But when somebody walks down the road